Hey, what's going on? So a lot of you are asking me questions about making sandwich bread and using breads with yeast. Those are great questions. The sourdough series that I shot last week is all about making sourdough, so you don't need to use yeast. But for those of you that want to make a bread that's quick, takes just a couple of hours, and you'll have a great loaf of sandwich bread for the kids. It's soft. It's got a nice delicate crumb to it. We're going to make what's called Zwieback. It's super simple. It only takes about 2 eggs, 2 cups of milk, some flour, sugar, and some yeast. I'll show you how to get that started. The protocol for this is you can start it on the bake day, first thing in the morning, mix your ingredients, and then get it into the refrigerator. Let that proof until it's doubled in size. It takes about 8 hours. So at the end of the workday, right around dinner time, you can flatten this thing out, roll it into a dough, stick it into a bread pan, and then right into the oven, and you'll have bread by the end of the day. So let's get started. This makes 2 loaves, and again, it couldn't be any easier. It's super simple. All right, so let's check it out, okay? Let's go. Okay, so we've had this thing ferment for about 8 hours. As you can see, it's the end of the day. This has been sitting here since earlier this morning. It's actually fermented longer than that. I took it out of the refrigerator. I brought it up to room temperature as best as I could. Try to add as little flour as possible. So I'm going to add just a little bit of flour on the work surface here. What we're going to do is we're going to roll this dough out into 2 loaves. Okay, we're going to cut this into 2 equal parts and just kind of eyeball it. Don't worry about it. Set this aside and then punch this down. We're trying not to add more flour. So let's take a rolling pin, just a little bit, and what we're going to do is we're going to roll this out Again, it's the milk and the eggs in this recipe that's going to make this bread nice, light, and airy. You want to roll this out. When I first made this bread, I thought it was really interesting because I've never seen a technique like this before, and it's pretty awesome. So I have a couple of bread pans that Monique uses to make banana nut bread. But other than that, I never really use the banana nut bread pans or the bread pans for anything, to be honest. So I only have two. I have a glass one and I have a metal one. And I hear there's mixed reviews on which one works better than the other. But what we're trying to do is we're trying to roll a nice, soft, smooth dough, nice and even. And we're going to do this twice because we have 2 loaves from this batch. But you can see that the color of this is really awesome. So, all right, that's probably good enough for now. Okay, so here's our dough. Make sure it is a nice, thin, even.
How thick is that?
It's right now, I'd say, I mean, whatever the thickness of your finger. I mean, it's just, you want it to be thin and small, but you can see it's really easy to work with. It's not hard at all. So I'm going to take the first bread pan, and we're going to add a little bit of oil to it. I know people use cooking sprays. I have avocado oil that I'll use with this one. I'm going to spray it with my sprayer. So I'm going to go grab that. So this is just a oil mister. If you have vegetable oil, that's fine. I'm not a big fan of that stuff. I think avocado oil is a little bit better. So this is just to keep it non-stick. And then I'm going to set the pan in front of me. Hopefully that's in the shot. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that the width of this dough fits in this pan. So I sort of set it in front of me as a marker. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, kind of fold it in half here. And I'm going to fold this half over here. And I have what looks to be a nice package. And then what we're going to do is we're going to tie up those loose ends and we're going to roll it. This is pretty cool. So we're going to take this and just roll it nice and easy into a nice, simple little log. Again, don't make a big deal about it. So then what we're going to do is we're going to shape it and put it right in the loaf pan. Okay? Just like that. You want to set that little seam on the bottom because we want our presentation side up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap this in plastic wrap. I'm going to do the other one on the glass pan, and I'm going to set this aside in a warm place for 2 hours. And then roll that up, just like that. And there you go. You'll have your 2 loaves of bread ready to go. This one needs to be a little wider, so just stretch it and play with it. Remember, you're going to let this proof again, so it's going to grow on you. And what you're waiting for this to do is you want this bread to get maybe about a ½ inch above the top. So when the plastic wrap starts to pop up, you got that little puffy area here. You throw them in the oven and bake them. That's it. It's that simple. It's Zwieback. It's going to be the best sandwich bread you've ever had, I promise you. Okay? So let me get these wrapped up, and we're going to set these aside for 2 hours. Or less, based on how fast or how warm your kitchen is. But 2 hours is probably a good starting point. So I'm going to leave these here. I'm actually going to wrap these in a little bit of tea towel or something like that, and have at it.